Hello, everyone. So I thought I would tell you about a dream that I had last night. So today it's December 20th, Saturday. So basically, I was coming upon or just watching, like I was not exactly explicitly in the scene, um, but I was looking at three maybe like tribal people. We were in a jungle and they were in the process of, or they were trying to um, participate in animal sacrifice, but they were sort of caught and in a surprise. And so I think that I was also one of them. And of course, in dreams and Jungian analysis, you were everything in the dream. So I was basically like the animal and all three of the tribal ancient like people. And in this dream, gender was very ambiguous because everyone seemed to be dressed in sort of like a non modern, I guess, way. Everyone had really short, almost shaved hair. So basically, in what I saw, this is the only thing and the first thing that I saw. Basically, like the animal, which looked like a golden retriever, had not been harmed, but it was the face, like they were holding onto the dog, and the golden retriever's like face was in the center of these three tribal people, like basically like in a circle. And they all, including the dog, like looked surprised, like, oh, we can't go through our animal sacrifice. Um, so it didn't seem like the dog was like it seemed like the animal was a part of it, like in a sense. And then to further like intervene on this animal sacrifice so it wouldn't happen, I saw a big brown bear like standing up, like coming through the trees behind the three tribal people. I know this dream sounds crazy, but and it's a very simple scene actually. But and then that was it. And then I think that the three tribal people turned into three monks. Again, I'm sorry. Like it's just so strange. And I just like there was three in the first scene and we're still in the same jungle. They just turned into like I guess Buddhist monks or some kind of monks. Like there was a like, and I was definitely now one of them. I was like a specific monk, and we were all wearing like these like reddish brown kind of robes. And what we were trying to do is we were climbing up, we were at the top, but we had climbed up this very narrow, like not really stable, it was kind of like swaying, this very, very tall tree. And I mean, it was so high above the ground. It was like, I'm not good with distances, but like a skyscraper kind of distance. This skinny, skinny tree. And my two monk friends were already on, like at the top of this tree, it was kind of like there was like this long wooden bench. And we wanted to sit up there. We wanted to get away, I think, from maybe like the earlier animal sacrifice situation. Like we were kind of getting away from maybe potential danger or just a predicament. And we also just wanted to get a higher vantage point. We wanted to see more clearly. We wanted to see, like, I guess, what was below us. And so I was struggling to get kind of like to step up on like a leaf and get on the bench. So, my monk friends were trying to help me, but I just like didn't have the core strength. I remember that specifically. Like it was difficult for me because of the lack of core strength. And so finally I did get over and on the bench. And so the three, myself and the other two monks, were just sitting there. And then this like kind of calming nature spirit um came to us like this spirit seemed kind of female, and so she could fly, and she had these big, huge, like purple, bluish wings. Like she looked, I say she, it was it's hard to explain like how she looked. Really, I shouldn't even like put gender on her, but it had kind of a feminine presence and just like the way the being moved, but it was clearly like a semi-divine kind of spirit. And I could tell that this kami, I'm just going to use like the Japanese term for spirit, like nature spirit, um, like landed, like was flying toward us and landed on the far end of this bench and was very cautious, like didn't want to scare us. And though we looked over and we did not seem in the dream surprised or scared. We were more just curious. But it seemed like this bird, calmy creature was kind of like going slowly just to like say, okay, like it's okay. Like I'm not going to hurt you or something. And also, like why this kami came was because it was also curious. It wanted to see like why we were there, make sure that we were protected, and so on. And then I woke up. So I don't know if the dream would have continued because there was a loud car alarm outside the parking lot, outside my apartment, like at the parking lot. And so that woke me up. But anyway, it seems like it would have, like the dream would have ended there. It just seems like a proper dream ending. So that's what happened. So now for what I can tell of the analysis, it seems like, well, I think that animals in a dream represent instincts. And a lot of times, whether we've had some trauma in our childhood, and most of us have, even if we had great parents, there's just something about, when we were little and had, a different kind of consciousness. I can imagine being in an adult world is confusing, potentially confusing and strange, and also, wonderful in some ways from that like child's vantage point. Or, I mean, according to Berdyaev and Freud and Jung and Nietzsche, civilization has its own kind of instinct repressing tendencies. And so basically, the idea is that for maybe some of us more than others, we feel that we don't have like the instincts that we need to really survive. Chrysola, I think her name is, oh gosh, what's her name? Hold on. Let me let me just look at my book. I had to look at the book behind me. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote Women Who Run with Wolves. She talks about this, how a lot of times, even in middle age, women are, and everyone maybe, we're going through a time where we're trying to regain and recapture those instincts that we have repressed or have been worn down because of various things like people pleasing tendencies or silencing oneself, being fearful of speaking up, maybe avoidant of confrontation, making just oneself small and submissive, etc. So to regain kind of our wildness is what I'm sort of seeing here. And I think also at play might be a theme of fear of irreparable damage toward the instincts that I think that the dream is expressing. And so this dream is sort of showing, like, because the setting is this wild jungle. And so it might be showing that, the instinct that I thought maybe was sacrificed, whatever the instinct to to be and to survive and to thrive and flourish. I don't know exactly a specific instinct, but the golden retriever may represent an instinct. And golden retrievers are friendly and loyal and just, like basically the best people in the world. Like I don't know if there's any better being than a golden retriever. That's why people, say of other people, like, oh, that person has golden retriever energy. It's just like the highest compliment I think you could have. So there might be something about like an instinct toward connection and warmth and loyalty to others that I might have been afraid was sacrificed, but it shows that our instincts, our self, like nothing really dies, no matter what you've been through. The core you is still there. And it's just sort of waiting for safety to emerge. And and then also the bear, there's protective instincts that are so powerful and so big. Like this bear looked like ready to kind of like be a mama bear and protect. So if whatever, appeared, and again, I was looking, so it's like I appeared and sort of caught them, but I don't really feel like that is what I feel more a part of the tribal people, but my vantage point was I was seeing them, the tribal people. And so, so we have this, regardless of trauma, we have protective elements in our psyche that are there and cannot be destroyed. It's like, how various sacred literature says the soul cannot be destroyed. It doesn't matter what your body goes through, it doesn't matter the conditioning and the trauma, etc. You are there. And so I think that that's the first part. And then there's a transition, the people who were trying, or the elements that were trying to tame or sacrifice the instinct. Um, Sort of like, I mean, when I think of monks, I think of sort of non-attachment and trying to be more responsive than reactive. I think of like a stillness and a curiosity and an ability to inquire. Oh, it's getting really dark. It's like 4:30. So my lighting is going away. And I'm like in front of a window as well. So maybe that's what the monks represent. And obviously, like climbing up to get a higher vantage point means just that, metaphorically, symbolically, etc. Like it's I guess, consciousness trying to understand what's happening. And then I guess the nature spirit, the kami, is just another part of nature showing that. And I think that since this figure was clearly semi-divine, would be, or divine, I don't know why I'm saying semi-divine. It just like it didn't seem like God, but it seemed like, a nature spirit that was a guardian of the jungle and very benevolent and very like even the element or the behavior of like slowly walking toward us, just to be just to show that they were not threatening, which we didn't think they were threatening anyway. From the vantage points of the monks, we were just kind of, monkish. Like we felt pretty centered, except when I was struggling, because of my lack of core strength. Oh, that's another thing, I guess. The core being strengthened, I guess that could just refer to like your ability to go through the world in a sort of empowered way. Like you trust yourself and you feel capable. So there's kind of a message of struggle in that area, I think. But eventually, with the help of my friends, I got up. And so back to the kami, I guess that represents like maybe the self with a capital S. Um, which I think is also very reassuring. So I think, in a sense, dreams always show you, where you're headed, kind of how far you've come, in a sense, but also the areas that you need to work on. So yeah, so I don't know. That's all I have for my analysis. But I've been thinking lately because I've been writing my dreams down, not writing my dreams down, but like thinking about my dreams and interpreting my dreams. And now I'm writing them down. And I spend about an hour or two doing dreams, dream work, and then that kind of moves into shadow work. And I always feel like my goal is to interpret the dreams. But recently, I've come into contact with this idea that instead of being so logo-centered in terms of dream interpretation, to try to maybe balance that with letting the dream symbols sort of absorb into my body and observe them and be in their midst and allow sort of the symbol to have contact with the soul instead of me trying to pursue the symbol and decode it and things like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't know if I can stop trying to record and interpret my dreams because I'm just gaining so much from it. But I think maybe in addition to that, I will start to try to see them more as like my dreams as containing like living symbols and to exist with them and to just take note on what feelings and emotions I receive and how those feelings evolve. So anyway, that's it. Please put your comments and analysis of my dream below if you wish, or let me know your dreams that have maybe overlapping symbols. But thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next video.